It's time for Cats Talk Wednesday. Small town and big city joined forces. Vinny Hardy of Lynch, Kentucky, and Terry Brown of Louisville, Kentucky, team up to give you free-flowing, laid-back sports talk. Focus on Kentucky Wildcats, as well as pertinent information in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
What's up, everybody? Wednesday evening again. We are TV. Rolling on through the summer. Global Jam is come and gone.
Yeah, Cats win gold, baby.
SEC Media Days, like you said, are here. We got a longtime friend, Tina Cox, coming to hop on here with us. She goes back to the Karen Mills days. She was in Toronto, so we'll talk a lot of ball with her. You got daughters making moves, like we was talking about. I saw your tweet. You might have a Donna Smith moment here once the season starts. Man, you got all kinds of stuff happening.
Absolutely, man. I got to lead off. My youngest made varsity field hockey for her school. She goes to a different school than my oldest, and they play twice. So it is definitely going to be rough. Like I think I text you, like I'm going to be like Richard Williams with Venus and Serena was at center court at Wimbledon. I'm just here, man. I'm just here, So we'll see how that goes, but just doing fantastic. Doing fantastic, man.
Good deal. So at least 2 head-to-head matchups, and then if there's a district tournament or something,
then they'll play
possibility of a third
in the playoffs. So so I'll be making it back for at least one of the regular season matchups.
So personality-wise, you said there's some trash talking. Does Lauren aggressively initiate it? Does Sarah kind of condescendingly look down at the little sister as a pest? Is it both equal, 50-50? What's the dynamic between the...
It's about 50-50 with the girls, man. No matter what they do, it is give and take on both sides. So they've played against each other. It's been a little while now, like junior level. And it's just back and forth. Like I was telling you, the beautiful part is they take out their mouth guards so the other can hear exactly what they're saying to each other. So one plays offense, one plays defense. So it's kind of like having a cornerback and a wide receiver just go at it in the same family. So it's going to be interesting.
We're going to have the Andre Rising, Deion Sanders, Andre Johnson, Cortland Finnegan just wailing on.
It's going to be some back and forth. There's going to be some back and forth. But I need to do like Rob Lowe. That one time he just had a hat that said NFL on it.
Yeah.
And just,
KHSAA.
That's right. Both teams. I hope both teams have fun.
Right. Yeah, the Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah.
Both teams play hard, my man.
That's all I'm looking for. Please don't black your sister's eye. Please don't high stick. Please don't trip each other. That kind of stuff. But no, that's she gave me that news today, so I'm pretty excited about that. She also went to the Beyonce concert.
Oh, Queen Bee was in the Ville, huh? That's right. When was that? Yesterday?
Monday
Okay.
night.
That's right.
So
at Cardinal Stadium too, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So that was good. It just reminded me when
Papa John's, whatever it is. My bad.
I think it's L&N Railroad, L&N Financial Stadium, I think, or something. Okay. But when the girls were both younger, and it wasn't Crazy in Love. Oh, what was it? I've been drinking.
Yeah,
That
that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they like to listen to it because they like Beyonce from way back when. But they didn't like it when the boy comes on and talks. I was like, wait a minute. First things first, that's Jay-Z. Okay, let's be very. And he's not talking; he's rapping. Y'all need to respect some Jay-Z, but in their minds, he was just the guy that said words with Beyonce.
He was just in the way to them.
Yeah,
Get him
move out the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, everything's going good, man.
Good stuff. Good stuff. The soybean crop, everything's all right.
Everything's going all right here. That's right. That's right. A little disappointed there's no corn behind me, but yeah, the soybeans are coming in.
So maybe they'll switch it back next year or the year. Maybe, just rotate that stuff now.
Well, I'll be here for the long haul looking at this mortgage. We've been in here a year. Got this house a year ago. So time flies when you're having fun.
The souped up lawnmower running well. Everything going good with the.
Oh, I love my lawnmower, boy. It's all quiet. I'll be cruising around. I take my time when I'm cutting that grass. Rolling 2 miles an hour so everybody sees you. I'm out in my front yard. People walking by. I'm like, hey, y'all give them the what's up.
Mm-hmm.
Electric.
Mm-hmm.
You can hardly tell I'm cutting grass. It's so quiet.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Man, like you said, we got gold medal. We got media days. Actually, the Cats were down in Nashville today. Stoops and JJ Weaver and Eli Cox and blanking on the third one, but all three guys were from Kentucky, so that was cool to have three representing the state go down there on the big stage in front of all the media folks.
Yeah. So I mean, it's okay. Media days, it is its own little circus. One, I've grown tired of Missouri. I've just grown tired of Missouri football. Because I follow a few Missouri football fans, and I'm like, I'm just tired of Missouri. Like, don't be retweeting stuff that the only way Kentucky can win is if we pull out a rule book. Buddy, we've been beating the brakes off you for a long time. Calm it down. Calm it down.
Eli is just a nerd, man. He's
whatever, Missouri. Y'all need to think about us. Don't nobody think about y'all. Missouri doesn't fit in the SEC. There, I said it.
He went up there and filibustered on purpose and blatantly said, I'm trying to talk the whole amount of time away to where I don't have to have any questions. That was his whole intent during his time on the podium. And he went through the roster, naming names, just like reading the phone book. He's then thanked some Missouri government officials and started naming House of Representatives and senators and just was blabbering on and on. He still ended up having to answer some questions, but his whole vibe is weird. And, I was a little disappointed. Mark Stoops was on there today and said him and Eli are kind of cool. He kind of liked it when they're good buddies. I'm like, but
my thing is with Missouri football, who cares? I wouldn't. Most people wouldn't care if Mark Stoops got up and did a shtick. It's Kentucky football, right? Like,
yeah.
And Eli, you're not the same dude that took Missouri to the SEC championship game. That's not on your resume.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you doing? Nobody cares.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. You got to do something. So somebody see what the Missouri coach did. But even then, most people are like, give me the gist of it. Nobody cares.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's Missouri football.
Yeah.
Again, I say that nobody would care if Stoops did something ridiculous like that.
Mm-hmm.
No one cares.
Yeah. Yeah. He was still in his feelings about the play that, Colin Goodfellow got hurt on because he got roughed just because he was 40 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Even though they changed the rule for it this year, but we had a rough call go against us at Kentucky. That's the rules. You roughed the punter. It didn't matter that it was right behind the line of scrimmage. It was 40 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Your guys broke Colin's leg, but you still whining about the call. But
you gotta let that hurt go, man. That's all I'm saying. Let that hurt go. It is what it is. But again, it's Missouri football. I'm not too worried about Missouri football. I saw Hugh Freeze was talking. I need him to say less. One, he's hyping up mediocre Auburn. That's one. And two, bro, we we know why you're not at Mississippi.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that, which again, don't feel so bad for Pat Fitzgerald from Northwestern. He gonna get another job.
Yeah.
Those dudes don't go away,
no
matter what you do.
Yeah.
And that's about it. I mean, I saw some of the Kentucky highlights today, but I'm not worried about. I don't really care what Nick Saban says or Kirby Smart or whoever. I mean, it's good. It's one of those things. Yes, you want the coaches to talk and build up some interest for the football season, but I'm also thinking it's the SEC. Do you really need to drum up interest in the football season?
No, but that's just what we do because we know. We know it don't matter what we do, people are gonna be interested because we are the SEC. We can just blink and yawn, and Nick Saban yawned on the podium.
And Georgia's going to be Georgia. It's almost you have to manufacture kind of stuff. I saw, something is this season make or break for Nick Saban? Stop. He still hasn't had one class come through that hasn't won a national championship yet since he's been at Alabama. Until that happens, just stop. That's all I'm saying. We don't have to do that.
They got questions, TB. They're the quarterback, and they might get picked second in the West by the predictions this year, TB. This is traffic stopping stuff here, man. Hey,
And Georgia looks tough. Again, but again, Alabama didn't lose. The two games were a total of 6 points between the both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just think winning that third one in a row, that's always tough. We thought that Matt Leinart and USC was ready to do
it. Yeah.
We thought that Nebraska was going to keep rolling and was going to do it. And then three-peats are tough.
Yeah.
You look at even in the NFL, three-peats are tough.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Your Cowboys went back-to-back, and then I can't remember what happened in year 3.
I don't know. No idea.
But the 49ers went back-to-back. Super Bowl 23 beat the Bengals. Super Bowl 24 beat the snot out of the Broncos. And I want to say it was 13-3 the next year. And lost to the Giants in the NFC Championship game because Matt Barr hit like 6 field goals.
Yeah.
They didn't give up a touchdown loss. It's one of those things that 3 is very, very hard.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. Nobody in the Super Bowl era has three-peated, right? No.
That's correct.
That's right. Back in the Browns and the Packers and all that pre
Super Bowl, you had some three-peat here, but not the Super Bowl era because it's just tough.
I mean, the Packers won the first 2; they couldn't even three-peat, but Bart Starr and all them, and
right.
Yeah.
And it's something you see easier in the NBA, although it hasn't happened here in recent history. But the back-to-backs have been frequent, but three-peats have been a little bit more rare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Georgia, target on their back. Stetson Bennett finally moves on. So the walk-on, the Georgia native, the storyline. We heard it all his whole time, and tip your cap. He won a couple in a row, and they're that squad right now. So until somebody knocks them off, we'll see. But it's gonna be a fun year. Tennessee thinks they can do something. Kentucky, we have reason to think that it'd be a step up. And look, last year step back to 7-5. We know what step backs used to be in the history of Kentucky football.
Two wins. 2 wins. Yeah.
So we slipped to 7-5. savor that. It could have. We used to fall off the cliffs and never land. So South Carolina has reason to be happy. They beat Clemson. They won 8 games. A lot of it's that time of year. Everybody's feeling good about what they got, and we'll see here in a couple months. And some will realize that they're legit, and some will realize they aren't, and have to go back to the drawing board and that whole thing. It's that time of year, man. Everybody's optimistic.
Everybody's optimistic.
Why Hugh Freeze had to talk. Hugh Freeze better say this while he can. Hey, I'm happy to be back. I've won some games at Liberty, and I got another shot, and I've retreaded, and I've come back in, and he actually got a. He ain't at Mississippi State. He's really at Auburn, so he even probably outkicked what he thought. So go ahead and say what you can say right now, and then take your lumps too in year one. It's that time of year.
Yeah, but Auburn is still the little brother.
Yeah.
Auburn only matters when they've got a legit all-time great, historically great.
Yeah.
Great with Bo, great with Cam Newton, and a lot of meh. They've had some moments, but there's been an awful lot of meh. And again, I see this prompt come on social media every now and then when it comes to quarterbacks and the season, the debate, the best season. It's Cam Newton, because not one other person on that offense has taken a snap in the NFL.
Right? Yeah, that's right.
I get it. Joe Burrow put up numbers, but with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, that task becomes easier, right?
And what, Clyde Edwards-Helaire too, the running back. Yeah.
Yes. So I get it. Joe put up numbers, and every quarterback's done this, but of the last 30 years, it's Cam Newton, and it's not close.
And I love the Iron Bowl, but that Iron Bowl was epic because they were getting drilled and in Tuscaloosa, if I'm not mistaken, and he led them back. And outside of that, I think at Commonwealth Stadium was their toughest game, though, because
it was a one-score game,
37-34 or something like that. Yeah. They barely got out of Lexington alive.
But it was just because that dude, he was the leading rusher. Like, I get it. And Cincinnati fans they're getting their feels when you're like, yeah, Joe Burrow had a great season. Cam Newton, nobody else took an NFL snap. Not was all pro, not a snap in the NFL.
Yeah, you put it that way.
And it's just rare that you see that in football. You see it Danny Manning and the Miracles, right? And some other things. And even in college basketball, you're not seeing that. Where one dude just takes the whole thing over. You'd have to go way far back again to probably to Danny Manning to see a team that just had the one dude.
And that won it. Yeah. Before, I don't know about David Thompson at NC State. I don't know if he had other guys or what.
Yeah,
that's before our time, man.
Before our time, I'm just thinking.
Elvin Hayes. I don't even. They didn't win it though.
Yeah, but recently. So it's tough to do. But Cam Newton did that in football in the SEC. So he gets my nod because, look, you're splitting hairs at that point. I'm just saying he ain't have no dudes.
And on defense was Nick Fairley, and that was the only guy I can name.
I think that was the only guy on the defensive side. I think they had one or two.
He didn't last long in the NFL. He was good in college, and I don't think he stayed around the NFL all that long either.
Right.
So yeah,
right.
It was really him and just dude. You're right. Gene Chizik got him a championship out of it too. Thank you, Cam. Appreciate you, bro. I'm about to get fired here in a year or two, but thank you.
And that 1 year, Auburn, the kick 6 year where they lost to Florida State and Jameis.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of meh on Auburn's resume.
Mm-hmm. They got some memorable Iron Bowls because I mean it's a rivalry game and they get up for that. But yeah, and that makes, I mean, that probably window dressed a lot of those mess seasons when they're able to beat Alabama and Bama punt that year in 70
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah, that probably was the icing on some, like you say, some blah cakes when they did beat Alabama and win 7 games or whatever.
Right, Auburn is a football name, but there's a lot of just shield your eyes kind of stuff from Auburn. Surprisingly, USC is kind of the same. When they're good, they're great, but when they're not, this is bad football.
Mm-hmm. UCLA too, I guess, right? They kind of
has UCLA been good
in football? Well, maybe
Kate McNown time you talking about?
But for that, they get maybe they're portrayed more, is this a word, prestigiously than they should be for their uniforms and their tradition. And this USC UCLA rivalry gets thrown at us from the West. It's not Ohio State, Michigan. It's not the Iron Bowl. It's not Florida State, Florida. But we hear a lot about it. Maybe they haven't been good. Maybe
UCLA has not been good. But they look good at the Rose Bowl with those uniforms. They look good. They look the part.
Ooh. Yeah.
About the only thing I would love for Kentucky and Louisville to do would be like what USC and UCLA have done is they both play their dark colors. They wear their dark colors when they play. And I would love to see Kentucky Louisville red versus blue. I think that would just be beautiful to see. I know they do that for football and men's basketball, but I'd like to adopt that as well. Just for the one game, you can do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, change it up a little bit. That'll be a nice look for sure.
Because give me, at the Yum Center, Cards in their red with their fans in red and Kentucky in blue and Kentucky wins. That'd be a beautiful picture for you to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Do they still end up being outside looking in the ACC SEC challenge? I think they did. They're still sitting on the outside.
They're still on the outside looking in.
Yeah, right.
You can't even hate. How are you going to hate from outside the club, as the kids say? You can't even get in.
No access, man. No access. Oh well. Oh, what else we got going on, man? Nothing major, I don't guess. My Rockets made it to the finals of the Summer League, so I gotta take what I can get, because that might be the highlight of my NBA season.
When do they start doing rings for the Summer League? I saw that. And a trophy? Where do you put that? Where do you put a Summer League trophy?
Oh, it's Cleveland. This is for you. So,
but do you? I mean, you can't put it next to the Larry O'Brien trophy, right? You can't do that.
Oh,
but you also can't just like put it in somebody's desk. What do you do with it?
Hey, Mobley might just take it to his house or something, because we couldn't do nothing with him. Just take it home, Mobley.
I just saw that. I'm like, I know you're not putting a banner up in whatever it is. It's not Quicken Loans anymore, but whatever it is. What do you do with that?
I don't know. I mean, they're still doing the midseason tournament this year. Is that coming up too? Which I think is stupid.
It is dumb. I don't know who's asking for this. I don't understand it. Every time I see something about the how it works, I'm like, scroll. I don't know how it works, how they're going to seed it. I'm sure I'll get more familiar with it when it comes. But what do you do in NBA? We talked last week with Sarah Sanchez about leagues doing stuff that doesn't make any sense, and this is it.
Ooh.
The issue with the NBA is it's very, very long. This in no way helps with the wear and tear, the load management, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't get it. Are people going to watch this more than they would? I know Christmas is always the big kickoff for the NBA. Is it to get more revenue that way? I don't know. I don't get it.
There's people that are fans of the EuroLeague soccer, the Bundesliga, or whatever. People watch that stuff, and one team gets moved up, one team gets demoted, or however they do. But I don't see why copy that and
that works.
Bring it over here.
That works for them.
Yeah,
that's not what we do here, and so I don't understand what this. Like again, no one is trying to win a midseason tournament. The Larry O'Brien Trophy is the prize.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand. I don't understand it. I honestly, I don't.
I can't wrap my head around it.
But what are you going to do with a Summer League trophy? I wish the Lakers would win it and put a Summer League trophy next to the 17 others. Like, what are you doing? Is this a division title? No. Time you made the finals? No. Summer League. Summer League's where you got dudes like us playing. Come on now. Come on. You ever look at those Summer League rosters, like players recently drafted, and that's what happened to that guy. That's why I love watching the XFL, the USFL, and the CFL. Like, that's what happened to that guy.
Yeah. And I didn't watch much of it. I see the promo for it, and Saturday at 4:00. Let me try to remember to watch. And the season's already come and gone. I guess maybe they're having playoffs now. I don't know. I didn't even.
I've been watching a little bit of the Big Three.
Yeah, and to see that snuck up on me. I saw that was in week 4 already. I missed half of it.
I just look up because it's Isaiah Briscoe is playing, and I want to say they won the championship last year before.
I think so, yeah. Is he on the Monster or Power? What is he?
Yeah, but it's like Isaiah Briscoe and 2 dudes that can't dribble. So it's basically the offense is basically Briscoe dribble and try to bully his man, then kick it out to somebody else. But it works. Man.
Yeah, I think they did win it. Is that all he's doing too? Like, is he like that's the only league he did?
Yeah, because he was playing here in Iowa for the Iowa Wolves. Because I was going to go check out a game, but then he wasn't on the roster. I'm like, well, I'm not going to go watch the Iowa Wolves unless there's a Kentucky player playing.
Yeah, are they in Des Moines?
They are. They're right. They're right downtown, but still, that's too far for me to go.
That's what I thought. Y'all right here in my yard, and I ain't even gonna watch y'all.
No, man.
I just mowed this yard. Y'all can put a cord up. No Kentucky guys on it. I ain't watching the Wolves in my front yard. That's
well, because Michael Mulder, the team he was on for a little bit, he was going to come through because I was going to watch both of them, and then I think he got called up to the NBA, and then Briscoe wasn't on the team. Like, well, I'm not going to that. Wife's like, you going? Like, why am I going to go watch? Look, I could understand going to a AAA stadium, right? Or a AA baseball stadium. I get it. The Louisville Bats used to be the Louisville Redbirds in Louisville. AAA. It's great. I am not going to watch AAA basketball.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I know those guys are working hard. And I was going to watch like the G League Ignite if they came to town, something like that. See that Scoot Henderson, but wasn't able to do that. But I'm not watching not Little League, but AAA because they got a AAA hockey team too.
I think I did go to one game of that with the Knoxville Ice Bears or something like that. But with the basketball, like especially like even the Olympics, like when it's the dream teams out there, you watch them play. I will, but then whoever the second best team is, it could be Spain playing Germany or whatever, and I'm like, NBA players on both teams, and I just lose. I don't even watch that, and that's still high level, and I kind of zone out on it. So I'm with you.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch the Little League, or see. I keep saying Little League, but it's the G League. I'm
See
not.
that,
I'm not into that.
yeah, that year the Gasol brothers, it might have been '08 or 2012, gave the US all they wanted in the gold medal game that year.
Hmm.
But when it was just them playing some other country, nah, I can't, just can't do it, man. Can't do it.
Yeah, in the WNBA, I watched the WNBA games. Our girl Ryan Howard was
Mm-hmm.
balling out at the All Star game.
Mm-hmm.
They got to do something with the uh, WNBA. The skills challenge, where that Sabrina Ionescu won
Mm-hmm.
it. It was like on at 5 o'clock on a Friday. Like, what is going on here? You can't 5 o'clock Eastern on a Friday. Like, what? Can we got to fix that?
Yeah.
The numbers are getting better, but they got to do something, because that's wild to me.
And got to fix their trophies too.
They did. The All Star MVP got
Okay.
the trophy was a little bit. It wasn't like this little thing here.
That's good. So what city was it in? Was it in Vegas?
Possibly. I don't
know.
100% know.
I don't remember. But
I feel better.
I'm glad that Ryan made it, because she should have been. She was definitely deserving the first year and a half she's had. So, she lived up to the hype. Aaliyah Boston from South Carolina went in there and started hooping immediately. So
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna have some young up and comers to, when the Sue Birds and the Tarasis retire, and they get to the end and that kind of thing. The other girl from UConn, she was with, I think, Seattle, but she moved on.
Breanna Stewart.
Yeah, she's another one that's gonna be a, I don't know what I'm looking for, but you can pass the baton to her. You can pass it to Ryan. You can pass it to Aaliyah. Ionescu, I'm gonna butcher her name, Sabrina. She, it's a bunch of, Caitlin Clark is coming. So
Yeah. Well, and the thing, there's always that changing of the guard, right,
mm-hmm.
for your league. We're seeing that turnover at the NFL level, with quarterbacks being the front runners. Aaron Rodgers is the last guy from the 2000s, that is really doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see what he does in New York. But it's the young guys now. Because here's the thing, too. I just realized, this is going to be year 16 for Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
So I sent you something on the Facebook, not the Facebook, on the Twitter. It is. Hold on 1 second. Let me find it. I know I sent it. It is the odds that current players will make it into the Hall of Fame in the NBA. LeBron is a lock, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Durant is a lock.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Paul, lock.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Curry, lock. James Harden is a .99999. I don't know how they do these metrics, because I don't know these numbers, but I would think Harden would be a lock, unless I'm missing something.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'd have to think that every All-Star or every MVP has made the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to look that up. But then Russell Westbrook, our man Anthony Davis, yeah, he's going to the Hall of Fame. His NBA career has been great, but also throw in college and everything else. That
basketball career,
yeah. And so it starts to get interesting toward, number 20. Is Jimmy Butler a Hall of Famer? Kevin Love, Klay Thompson, Blake Griffin, DeMar DeRozan. Those kind of names are rounding out this ranking of 20. And I don't know. Kyle Lowry on here at number 13, right behind Nikola Jokic. Jokic is getting in.
Mm-hmm.
Jokic could stop playing right now, and he's in.
Yeah.
Right.
What about Derrick Rose? He getting in? That's an MVP. I mean,
I
injuries.
thought I'm going to say no on Derrick Rose. Yes, he's an MVP,
Mm-hmm.
but the injuries. Plus, I know he led Memphis to the title game, but not getting the win, I think hurts his case. I thought he was an All-American, and he was not. Derrick Rose was not an All-American that year at Memphis.
Wow.
Yeah. So so his case isn't very strong.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Everybody else is a Hall of Famer, though. You're right. All the other MVPs, yep. Westbrook and Rose, I don't. And well, see what happens with Embiid. Westbrook, Rose, and Embiid. I guess the jury's still out.
well, according to this, Westbrook has a .9994 chance of getting in. So that's pretty good. But I think with him, you've got the triple doubles, you've got some other things. So I think Russ eventually gets in
because we hadn't seen that we've never seen that since Oscar.
Yeah.
So yeah. Like Miguel Cabrera hitting for the Triple Crown, we hadn't seen that in our lifetime. Yeah.
And so, interesting enough, John Wall, number 21 on this list. And then you start looking at, and looking at this just makes me realize at any given time, you're probably only looking at maybe 10 Hall of Famers playing at any given time.
Mm-hmm. If Booker keeps it up, I think he'll make a case if he continues and stays healthy.
Yeah, he's number 36 on this list. Right behind number 35, DeMarcus Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that Booker's got some work to do. But at any point, you're only looking at maybe 10 in a league at a time.
That's exclusive, boy.
And I think we start because I follow some accounts like they'll give you all this person's numbers, this person in the Hall of Fame. No, if you I hate to get hot takey, but it's like a Hall of Famer when you see one.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the sport is, a dude or a lady that has just transcended and become they've reached that level. That's why it's going to be weird, man, when Eli Manning goes in and that dude didn't win no playoff games except those 2 championship runs. But doing it in New York helps. It's why you get a lot of Yankees in.
Yeah.
You win. The numbers may be pedestrian, but like, oh yeah.
Yeah, because transcendent, no. But 2 rings in that market erases a lot of that man that we've been talking about all afternoon.
And the Giants have a lot of that.
Oh man, because they got 4. Yeah, 4. Sims, Hostetler, and Eli's 2. And Bill Parcells was there, Lawrence Taylor was there, all that. But just.
Because I saw somebody making a case for Phillip Rivers. Is he Hall of Fame? No. Is Matt Ryan? No. I gave
Rivers before Ryan if I had to pick between them 2. But
and when you start talking about Hall of Fame, it's okay not to be a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
You can get your number retired. You can be in your Ring of Honor. You can never have to pay for a meal anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But being in the Hall of Fame should be difficult to get into.
Yeah.
I see people, it took so-and-so a year. It should be hard to get into because when the NFL rolls out, right, you get 1 to 2 locks every year.
Yeah.
and then you get other deserving people. But since the NFL kind of limits their class size,
Mm-hmm.
you go back to when Jerry and Emmett went in. As soon as I saw those two names, I'm like, oh, one, I'm going, but two,
Mm-hmm.
that's a pretty good class.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you look at all the other classes, and they've got some names, but I'm like, the number one all-time rusher, the number one all-time receiver.
Yeah.
And I think they're 1 and 2 on total touchdowns as well, if I'm not mistaken. Like, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty good list.
Yeah, and what Jerry signing with Seattle moved him to be in the same year as Emmett, right? I'm glad he hung around to where they could both.
And it was great. Hey, I enjoyed it. A lot of Cowboys fans were there, so good for them. I told you I saw Jay Novacek.
That's right. That's right.
And I realized I'd never seen his face before. Like,
was he wearing a cowboy hat at the time?
He was wearing a cowboy hat, and he came walking by, and it just a Cowboys fan is like, "That's Jay Novacek." I'm like, "What?" Me and my dude Rel was like, "Is it?" I'm like, "I don't know." And this was 2010. This is before you could like Google stuff. I'm like, I don't know what he looked like. I didn't know what Daryl Johnson looked like until he started calling games. But real quick, man, I don't know. Did you see the article on ESPN.com about your boy Dan Snyder and everything going on with the Washington football team? It's a great read. You should read it because it is just ridiculous. Basically, the leaks, the Gruden leaks, that came out with his emails when he was wilding out and everything. Everybody's pointing their finger at everybody else on where the leaks came from, right? Like who was responsible. It's like a big game of Clue. Everybody's got, everybody had opportunity. Everybody had motive, so you don't know who done it, right? But the favorite part, my favorite takeaway was when they first started investigating Washington, right? And Dan Snyder was a wild, wild boy. He shows up to NFL owners meeting, and everybody's telling him he's doing this and this and this, and they can't have this and this and this. And I want to get this correct. It's called the blackmail PowerPoint, where he apparently went owner by owner on all the stuff they had done in their organizations and why they should let him be.
What year was this? When
this was 2021. When they first started being investigated. So look, man. One, I need to see that PowerPoint. That's one. Like, we need that as a society to see that. But two, I need a recreation of how that went down. Like, they saw all 30 owners sitting around talking with Roger Goodell. Your boy Dan Snyder gets up, says, "Lights, please." And then, and he gets one of those clickers. And so I'm sitting here thinking, how did this go down, right? Do you go alphabetical by team? Do you do it by owner? Do you do it by like what the dirt you've got on them? Like, how do you do this? Do you stop and ask questions? Do you go, okay, Jerry Jones, boom, 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 boom. Any questions? Or do you just hold the questions to the end? Vinny, I've got so many questions about this blackmail PowerPoint. And just to do it at a room full of all these other billionaires. Woo!
Because some of Jerry's stuff been leaking out. We've seen some of his stuff ooze out through the years.
And that's the thing, too.
What he got on Art Rooney,
Yeah.
Or Dan, whoever's up there in Pittsburgh.
Or Arthur Blank or whoever, Or, what kind of dirt can you have on the boy up in Indy?
Oh, Ursay. Oh, my God.
Ursay already. Ursay put his stuff. But the simple fact that he had this PowerPoint put together and told all the other owners, y'all wild boys too. And I have been fascinated by this. The rest of the stuff is crazy. They are going to pay your boy John Gruden. He's getting some money. Mm-hmm. His case is basically like all that wild stuff I said. All y'all have said wild stuff, and they're going to do everything they can to keep from discovery. Mm-hmm.
See this,
because what I always said when he was sending that stuff, you only send that kind of stuff if you know the other person, the other people are okay with it. That's the only way you start sending that stuff. Mm-hmm. You don't, first day on the job, you don't just start sending that. No, that's not how that works, man. But anyway, I'll have to send you the link because, man, it is hilarious. Because Dan Stein's just a wild boy, man.
Yes, he is. And I mean, to me, I'm not gonna say he was Kobe to Jordan, but he came in to me trying to copy Jerry anyway. In a lot of ways, not the big Southern personality, but the kind of way he set up shop, kind of like he trying to just kind of be like Jerry to me.
Well,
so, ain't no surprise.
In my mind, and maybe I'm misremembering, but Jerry to me was the first owner that we knew.
Yeah, well, Al Davis, I guess.
Okay. But, hey, the story of Al Davis becoming owner of the Raiders, chairperson of the Raiders, is absolutely hilarious. Mm-hmm. Check that out if you haven't. And fighting with the NFL, absolutely hilarious.
Oh, it's him and Rozelle, man. And then his goofy son now with his
man got a $1 billion with a Supercuts haircut. Man, come on now. But yeah, I thought that it was just like one or two times the Raiders and the NFL went back and forth. No, they went to battle like a lot.
They stayed in court, didn't they? I mean, always going round and round.
And you know why? When the leagues merged, Al Davis thought he was going to be commissioner of the NFL.
Just go.
Because he had been commissioner of the AFL for 6 weeks or like 8 weeks.
That's 56. That's 56 days, man.
That's a lot of days, right? And so he thought he should be commissioner of the NFL. And then from that moment forward, after he stole the Raiders, he picked fights with the NFL until he passed away.
Yeah, so he ran out of steam and he just got too old to fight. But during his peak, when you read somebody's Wikipedia, years active, it was he was trifling the whole time, bro.
Well, and the thing too is the rundown of all this stuff about the NFL and the owners is what we and I have talked about before when it comes to ownership and front office. You can make money and not know what you're doing because that's the way the game is rigged. Mm-hmm. It's not rigged for you to lose money.
No.
So even if you are Mike Brown in Cincinnati and you ain't paying nobody for 20 years, you ain't doing nothing, and TJ Houshmandzadeh is telling stories about how they had to go buy their own Gatorade at training camp, you can still make money. That's what people need to understand. Not to get too far off, but that's why the writers and the actors are striking. Because I saw something, I had little blurbs come through, but a bunch of the actors in the Marvel, for the Avengers made $200,000. Now, granted, I will take $200,000. However, if I'm doing something and it makes $1 billion, we got to have a discussion, man. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's all about. So anytime there's these labor disputes and I see people, we've talked about this before, man. Why are you caping up for these owners? Mm-hmm. You are most likely you're more likely to be an NFL player than an NFL owner. The numbers just bear that out.
Yeah.
And if you're old like us, neither one of them's happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But every time there's a labor stoppage, we always have to talk about the millionaire players, not the billionaire owners.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody signing them checks.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And there's a cap on how much they're gonna spend, and they just raking in the rest. And they're not gonna pay a tax. This is all we can do in this CBA. This is the cap. And
once I realized, and I can't remember, it might have been 94 during that strike. And it's like, at that point, the split wasn't even 50-50 as far as baseball revenue that they split. It was like 55-45. The players got 45. And it's like, ain't nobody paying to watch the owners own.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what this is.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get the players fighting for at least 50-50. And then that's when the books get funny.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of the actors have come out, all these films, these beloved films that didn't make any money. And I can't remember what actor it was. It's like, how can we bring in $300 million and the movie not make any money?
So like Tony Stark only made 200,000?
I think by the time the first Avengers came out, Robert Downey Jr. was making bank.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time they kept it moving, because I want to say like maybe Mark Ruffalo, who's the Hulk, and some of the other people who are making 200,000. RDJ has been making bank since the first Iron Man, but he was like, we got to make this. It's not right to bring in billions upon billions and get 200,000.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we focus on the people at the top. There's a lot of actors and actresses that aren't making it like that.
Mm-hmm.
In my high school, well, she's not my classmate, but we've had her on, Marissa Brown. She's a working actor in Hollywood and talks about there's all that stuff of you're basically an independent contractor.
Mm.
And there's all the work you have to do before you even make the work. And if you look at some of those proposals they're putting out there, like, making sure they get per diems to eat, just stuff like that, you're like, wow, they don't do y'all like that. When they have to film on location, you kind of on your own. You got to keep your house in LA, but then you might be in Canada for 6 to 8 weeks. So you got to pay on where you live, and then you got to rent some. Anyway, I'm all for the working man.
Mm-hmm.
Because here I am. I don't want to get political, but there's no unskilled labor. My dad told me that a long time ago. Because I don't know if you've seen those videos where it's like a street vendor or like a bricklayer, and they're doing something fancy. You figure out how to do your job more efficiently. And that's a skill. We have said these jobs, look, there's not a job out there that doesn't need to be done unless you're a Kardashian, right? So think about it. If the garbage men don't do their job, what happens? Or I should say garbage people, right? Like we're all in this together. So we're talking about, and I thought we had learned this lesson during the pandemic when you go to McDonald's, the workforce has been cut in half. Now it takes a little bit longer to get your get your food.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, not to get on that political soapbox, but anytime I see somebody going on strike, be like, well, I'd be happy with 200,000. Not if my work is worth 200 billion. No.
Mm-hmm.
No. What difference does it make? Look, man, if you ever, there was an image I saw, like a representation, what $1 million in ones looks like, and then what $1 billion in ones look like. Yeah. $1 billion, you got to come off more than 200 grand.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me personally.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's enough to go around. Enough to go around. So yeah. So Tina's coming on here in a few minutes. I think she said about 5 minutes. And that was a
okay.
few minutes
Well,
ago. So
let's talk about the Global Jam. And look, I get it. It's July. It's whatever. And look, man, you can't love without putting yourself out there. And you can't be a fan without putting yourself out there. I'm all in. I'm not saying 40-0, but I like what this team is showing. Trey Mitchell, great pickup. Probably the most consistent person. He's going to be great, right? DJ, got that dog in him.
Mm-hmm.
Reed Shepard, better than I thought.
Yeah.
Because he's just an all-around. He's a glue guy. He's an all-around. He's going to do a lot of things. Maybe not flashy, although he showed some flashes. But I think you need people like that. Now, what I don't want to have happen is what got shared in one of my DM groups. Oh, see what's going on with Reed? Everybody doubt him. I'm gonna stop you right there. Okay, McDonald's All-American, son of Kentucky basketball royalty on both sides.
Yeah.
That's not a card you can play. You can play. Some people didn't think he'd be able to contribute, but he's not some hard luck story where it's like, yo, started from the bottom, now I'm here. No, I can't go there with you. But Antonio Reeves looks really, really comfortable. The offense looks a little bit more fluid. I hope we continue with the pressure.
Yeah.
So the team can get out and run. There's some gripes, like we got out rebounded, but that's going to happen when you're missing your 2 7-footers, right?
Yeah.
So to me, it's a positive.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like you said, Reeves, and I mean Edwards. I mean, I didn't watch these guys in high school, but he maybe he had range like that always. But stepping out there and being another shooter, maybe he's a little more streaky, but he showed you got to go out there and guard him. And that Mitchell, all of them, and we keep this going. But our guest is in the green room, the BS3 network green room backstage. Oh, she just had to pop off. She'll be right back. But yeah, it's like you said, it's just a lot of positives, man. A lot of positives, and hopefully we get the big guys healthy. We gonna need them. That still play free, and they're big and athletic, and they can run too. It's not like they're gonna slow you down when they get out there.
I'm excited. I'm excited when there was the pass, the alley-oop from Shepard to Edwards. I was like, that's taking me back to 1998, man.
Exactly. Looks like we got it ready now. It's our good friend Tina Cox, fresh off the trip to the Global Jam, saw it all up close and in person. Ain't had her on here in a while. Let's bring Tina in here right now. Tina, how are you?
I am wonderful, and it's even more wonderful to see you two.
It's wonderful.
It's been 4 years.
Since you were on?
Yes.
Lord, you looked it up, didn't you?
3 or 4 years. Yeah, it's been that long. Yeah.
Well, before we get started, Tina, Mama B wants me to say hello.
Well, tell her I said hello, and I love seeing your pictures with Mama B.
Oh, she's great. She's doing great, and the girls and everything. But
them girls are growing up.
Yeah, I got high schoolers all across the board there too.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's just crazy.
You've been where we are, Tina. You got grown kids and grandkids now. So
honey, believe it or not, Caroline just turned 5.
Oh my Lord.
Gabby turns 4 in September, and Kate just turned 2.
So you got 3 granddaughters. Tell us about it. Look, we're not grandparents yet, so just tell us. You got a few years as a grandparent under your belt. What is it like? How can you describe it? How much better is it than being a parent? That's what all the grandparents say. That's what they all say. So
yes,
tell us about it.
it's a love like you've just never known, because you see a part of what you created has created something else that has a part of you in it, and they do no wrong. You know what I mean? I get them all jacked up on anything. They know they can just go to my. I don't care. They can eat whatever they want to, and they're here. I ain't got to keep them. And the they're just fantastic. It's so fun watching them grow, and I'm a little sad because this is it. We're not going to have any more.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're trying to enjoy Kate. She just turned 2. They just got back from Disney World, and trying to enjoy her. But it's just wonderful, and you get them all jacked up and send them home.
CB, man, what kind of granddad are you gonna be? I mean, you have an idea.
So you've heard stories of my dad, right? He was
Oh
that
yes,
dude, right?
yes, yes.
And so it hit me when Lauren said to me one day, she said, "Daddy," this has been a while ago. I said, "Yeah." She said, "Does Granddad have a mean face?" I said, "Does he have a mean face?" I said, "That's all I saw from 1991 to 2001." I said, "Yeah, he can be mean, but I'm gonna be like that. I know I'm gonna be a pushover."
Well, I tell
As
you
it
what,
goes.
one of the funniest things is my son said to me one day. He said, "Mom, Dad was never this much fun when I was little. He didn't act like this," and it's the truth. You go to a whole different level.
Mm.
Oh yeah, the
Rusty,
girl.
yeah, Rusty's under. Whoops, I'm sorry. Rusty's under the table. He's building forts. He's letting them tear up Jack, do whatever they want to do. And you got to make sure you got all the groceries in when they're coming over the house. I mean, it is so much fun.
It is. But Tina, you are my favorite road buddy to cover all the
Yes.
games we got to do and sit side by side. Vinny, we need to sit down with Tina and we saw Sister Jean.
Oh
We
yes.
we saw the Duke Blue Devil. Like every good
Okay.
memory I have is thanks to you, Tina.
What did I
Uh,
always tell you? Just act like I always flirted with the security guards, which enabled us to do anything we wanted to do.
well, that's what happened, Vinny. That's how we got to be harassed by the Duke Blue Devil. I go to where the media's supposed to sit, right? And
Way up high.
I get a text message from Tina. "Where are you?" I said, "I'm in the media section. We're supposed to sit." I said, "Where are you?" She said, "I'm down here by the floor." I said, What are you doing?" She said, I think it was Kansas. No, it was Michigan State's
Michigan
basket.
State, yeah.
Yeah.
And she said, "Well, come on down here." I said, "Okay." And I walked down, and the guy comes to stop me. And Tina said, "Oh, Fred, he's okay." And we went sat down.
You know,
First name basis.
my thing is, you always act like you've been there before. No
Yeah.
matter what you do, you always act like you've been there before. So, yes, I miss my road buddy bad. Let me tell you, I miss him. Poor Dick Gabriel. I'm now hooked on his arm. I guess he wishes you'd come back to. I got to Canada and I was like, "Oh, Dick Gabriel's here." And he said, "And Lord, you're sitting right beside me, aren't you?" I said, "Yes, I am. Yes, I am." I was beside him and Dick Weiss in Canada.
Oh wow! Look at
And
that.
I bet they thought, "Jesus, help me. Just help me." Yeah.
So
You
that being said,
Yes.
how are the Cats looking? I know there's a contingent that'll never be happy. I know there's a contingent that'll never be sad. But watching them play, what is your takeaway on this team?
Well, I saw him in the Bahamas years ago, and we thought, and that team was good. That's the Ty. I went the Tyler Hero year. It's hard to not get excited. It's just so different than what we've seen the past few years. There is no slowdown basketball. They just, I mean, and this was like, well, in the Kentucky Derby when the gates open and they just go off. That's how it was. There was no. It was just boom. I mean, first play of the game, they're just moving the ball. They don't stop. They make the extra pass. There was one play that really sticks out in my mind. They made 6 passes before taking a shot, and the ball never hit the floor. I mean, just boom, boom, boom. They go. They play ball, and they all really, chemistry is going to be a big thing. And they seem to get along fantastic. I wasn't at Drake's house with them, but
I was going to ask if you were. I figured you were right there. I mean, based on what Terry just said, I figured you was
Well,
right
don't
there.
think I didn't
House
try.
to-
Okay.
I wouldn't have been surprised.
yeah.
Now,
I mean, that's the thing. I wouldn't have been surprised.
well, the thing was, Jack Pilgrim and I are cracking up going, how are we going to get to Drake's? How are we going to get to Drake's? Did no media go to Drake's for Goose Gibbons? Does that tell you how high up you had to be?
Yeah.
And I did think about getting in the car and driving over because I looked his address up. And then I was like, no, I ain't going to do that. I ain't going to do that. So, but no, it's going to be a fun year. I think, and I'm going to be really honest when I say this because I probably wouldn't tell everybody this, but just between us, we planned the trip to Toronto with them when we found out they were going. And I want to say it was probably third week of June, maybe. There was 7 guys on the roster at that point. Okay. And I look at Rusty, my husband, and I'm like, Rusty, I don't think we need to go to Toronto. And he said, what? And I said, I'm really concerned. They're not going to have enough players to even play. And he said, well, you better make your mind up because we got hotel deposits and stuff we got to talk about. And we even went as far as we made reservations in Florida. And I said, let me go on and make reservations in Florida and we'll give it 48 hours. And then I just thought, Tina, that's not you. So that's how we ended up in Toronto. But I was very close to not going. There has been so much, I'm trying to be kind, media head talk that has put this team, put UK basketball in a really bad perspective, I think, this summer. You just gotta trust the process. They're trusting the process. The fans have got to trust the process. Are there going to be games that are going to be rough this year? Sure, there are, but there's games that are rough every year. Are we going to go 40-0? No, we're not going to go 40-0. That's a once in a lifetime thing. Are we going to be competitive? Yes. Are we going to be fun to watch? Yes. And did I already make reservations in San Antonio? Yes, I did. But I can cancel those. Okay. So it's going to be a lot of fun. They're just quick. There's no stall ball. They're just fast.
And my whole thing has been, yes, there are reasonable gripes you can make about what Kyle and the staff are doing, okay? But my whole thing is saying they're not doing anything when we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I don't think that was fair.
No, and I tell you what, he was doing something. Look what, poor Bob Huggins, thank gosh he thought he was in Columbus and he was in Pittsburgh. But, things fell into place. They really did. And I'll tell you, Trey Mitchell, when he steps out from that 5 and shoots that 3, you just know it's going in. It's that pretty of a shot.
Mm-hmm.
It looked good.
And when you've got a 5, Bradshaw wants to play the 4. And if Bradshaw plays the 4 and you use, and Cal said it, he liked Mitchell at the 5. And if you've got a 5 that can step back and do that, what are you going to do? How are you going to defend this team when you got the shooters all the way around?
You got shooters, and you also have 5 people that you have to guard. You've got 5. You got 5 dribblers.
Yep.
Yes, you don't have shooters. You have makers.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And penetrators and
all that does when you pull him out is open up that lane. They got to defend people, and every one of them can slash right to the lane, and you're sitting there going, "Wow, where'd that come from?"
Mm-hmm.
And Reed Shepherd, that second game, everybody was like, everybody thought this guy was going to hopefully get some playing time. Well, let me tell you, it's going to be hard to keep him off the floor.
Yeah. And that's the best version of Kentucky when you've got 7 or 8 guys that have to play.
You've got to play them some minutes, yeah.
Not guys that should play, you hope develop, but you've got guys, hey, we got to figure out how to divide up, all these minutes.
That's been my thing anyway. I'm always, Cal likes to cut that rotation down to 7 or 8 if in a perfect world. I'm always for a bigger rotation. If they're good enough to play and you can go 10 deep, go 10 deep, go 9 deep.
Hey, if you got 12, play them.
Use your depth to your advantage. If they can play, figure out who plays best with who and play them all.
Yeah. And I love that. Cal is so funny right now. He is so full of himself, okay? At the press conference, I guess it was after the second game, Deb Moore, who is you all remember Eric Lindsay, Deb Moore has stepped into his shoes since Eric left. And Deb's like, looks at everybody and says, one more question. Well, they just keep asking questions. The Cal never wants to leave. He just wants to sit there and answer them. I mean, and she's like, one more question. He's like, oh no, we good. And they just kept, I thought, Lord, it was like he spoke, and you all have been to these before. He spoke for 35 minutes after the game. And I couldn't even tell you what he said because he was talking about Drake, talking about this, talking about that. But just, he's in a good place right now. And if Cal's in a good place, we're in a good place. It's just a matter you can't listen to the sources. Just look at what's in front of you.
That makes a lot of sense.
And Toronto was expensive.
Had you been up there before?
We had went years and years ago, but we didn't really get into the downtown, part of the city. We went up 2 days early. We spent 2 nights at Niagara Falls and then went on into Toronto. But I will tell you this, I no desire to go back.
Wow.
It was that expensive. I'm just like, whoa, no. They have a 13% tax on everything.
Oh.
And they don't call them bathrooms, they call them washrooms. Well, I don't say wash, I say wash. No, I say wash, they say washroom.
Right,
so,
right.
But it was a good time. And like I said, the fans are going to love them. I mean, they're just going to love this team. There's nothing to not like about them.
My concern with this team was, we got the youth, we got the veterans now, but Cal at his best does a good job of keeping the pressure off the players.
Right.
And I think the last couple of years, the players felt the pressure, because Cal, I thought, was feeling the pressure. But from what we've seen here, there's really no pressure no matter what we're saying or other people are saying. They seem to be in their own little Kentucky basketball world, and that to me is a good thing.
Well, and DJ Wagner does not play like a freshman. He just does not. I mean, he's way beyond all comprehension when you watch him out there. I can't wait for you all to see him up close and personal because he's just a different breed. And they're not playing through Oscar this year, okay? Last year, everything had to go through Oscar. If you went to the bathroom, I think you had to go through Oscar to go to the bathroom. I mean, and, Trey Mitchell guards the pick and roll just as good as anybody. And we haven't had that either in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, we just haven't had it. Now, was Oscar great and fantastic? Yes, and I wish him the best. And he will succeed because he's that kind of person, but not everything goes through Oscar now. So if you're used to watching basketball for the past couple of years, the Kentucky Wildcats, and you're going to turn around and watch them now, it's a whole different team. Because remember, everything went through Oscar.
Yeah, but this, like you were saying at the very top, 6 passes before a shot went up.
6 good passes, and the ball never hit the floor. I mean, just Chris, you were going, oh, wow. Everybody was like, wow.
And the end of shot clock, look, Lord knows I love Sevier. I thought he did a fantastic job. But giving him the ball with 5 seconds on the shot clock, 40 feet from the basket, is not a recipe for success. And we seem to be a little bit better at the end of the shot clock, even this early in the season. So I'm excited.
They're they're playmakers. And I'm glad for Sevier that he left because there would not be a place for him on this team.
Right.
And to be honest with you, Lance Ware, everybody loved Lance. I think he was a great kid, but there probably isn't a place for him on this team either.
Yeah.
We've got to see what happens with Ugana. And of course, there's always going to be the question, will Bradshaw play? Well, he didn't play, but they seem to do okay.
Yeah.
Are they going to skirt? And the first game, Terry, you need to go to Chicago. First game's in Chicago.
Is that where the Champions Classic is?
Yes, it's in Chicago this year. The State Farm, yeah. The first game, the big kickoff to college basketball.
I need to look into that because we can catch a train.
Hop on over there.
We can catch a train to Chicago.
We'll be down on the floor. We'll be on TV.
That's what
We'll be right down there. They play Michigan's. No, they play Kansas. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's right. It is Kansas this year. I might have to check that out, Tina, because I'm telling you, Vinny, when Tina's like, where are you? Come on down. Tina, I don't think we're supposed to sit here.
Let me tell you something funny, all right? So I was hell bent that I was going to get a picture with Shea Gilgis Alexander, okay? And you know when I'm hell bent about something, I usually do it, okay?
That's correct, yes.
All right, so I'm thinking, how can I get to him, okay? He's got this hot chick with him and this bodyguard, bigger than I am. I was like, how am I going to get to him? So I kind of work my way, I got to work my magic, okay? So towards the end of the game, I'm working my way down, I'm working my way down. And I thought if I can just get in front of him, I'll do one of them funky selfies. He ain't going to go Miranda Lambert on me or nothing. I want to do one of them funky selfies. So I get my body just about in position to put my phone up and do it. And the bodyguard, as I was easing a little closer, the bodyguard said, that badge ain't going to get you over here.
Oh.
And I laughed and he laughed. And I looked down and Shay was cracking up laughing. So I did not get the picture, but it was okay. So I did give it my best effort though.
Yeah, it's close. It's close.
Oh, it was close until that bodyguard looked at me. I thought, daggone it. We left Saturday afternoon after the game. We did not stay for Sunday's game. So I'd have done the picture with Patrick Patterson. Would have been a good one to do, but it was it was a weird arena, weird setup, nothing like you'd ever been to. Your Harlan County boys gym's probably bigger.
Yeah, this new one is big. It sure
well,
is.
It's bigger than where we were. I guarantee you that. It is bigger than where we were, and but it was fun, and yeah, I'm glad to be home. I'm not going back. I'll go back if they go back, but that'll be the only reason. I can tell you that.
And with them only been together for a couple of weeks to see the chemistry that we saw. I mean, just imagine what these next 3 or 4 months of just practicing together and how, Cameron was on here a few weeks ago talking about kind of getting a head start. Back when they went to Italy, they had 30 practices in 10 days and kind of got a jump start on everybody. They're on the same page with what we saw in Toronto. Imagine how much more in sync they had the potential to be.
I think it's going to be crazy. I mean, because they like making fun of each other. And Reed Shepherd, I was in the press conference, I think it was Shepherd, Antonio Reeves, and let's talk about him. Where would this team be without him?
Game changer.
I mean,
and Thiero.
Yeah, Thiero. Yeah, he's still got some raw edges to him, but where are you gonna be if they didn't come back?
I mean, he's physically just find the contact, absorb the contact, finish through the contact,
and that's it.
And you need a dude like that.
You do. And I will say this: last year, I used to think Reeves was like a grumpy old man. Okay, I never saw him smile. Never. He was it was like a misfit. You know what I mean? And this year, they are cutting up with him. He's making fun of the younger boys. And it's just, they just get along better. And Cal's trusting him now, which means a lot.
Well, and like Cam said when we had him on, we think about roster construction. Give me 2 guards, give me some wings, give me a big man. But there's way more to it than that. Right?
Oh, definitely.
It's the off the court stuff that we see bleed over to the on the court stuff.
And you heard the story about Fortnite, right? Did you hear that story?
Yeah, about Reeves and everybody playing Fortnite.
And the younger ones wanting him to come, begging him to come. And it's really, and he is so happy. I mean, just happy. And tell me Reed Shepherd ain't going to make some NIL money.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we said this as well. There's a lot of pressure on this freshman class.
Right.
But you got 2 guys that kind of know what's up, Reed Shepherd and DJ Wagner.
Yes.
Because as I point out all the time, Vinny, I rooted for DJ Wagner's granddaddy as I start to date myself. But
you're old.
Yeah, I am indeed. The girls tell me that all the time.
I know. I'm with you.
But Reed especially knows this is what big time college athletics is about. This is what it means to be a Kentucky Wildcat. DJ knows this is what it means to play for Cal. So they kind of have that built in.
Definitely.
So I don't think they're the average freshman that might have been overwhelmed in a situation like this. Yeah, they know what they're getting into.
And Thiero knows that too with his dad playing for
He
Cal.
knows it with his dad, yeah. I mean, they're just They're just, y'all are going to enjoy it so much. They're so much fun. And the fans, they almost had a catwalk. Every time the buses pulled up to let them out, I mean, it was like a little mini catwalk up in Toronto. And there were a lot more fans there than what I thought would be there.
And look, we spent a lot of time talking about the bad part of the fan base. But one thing I wanted to touch base with you about, Tina, was you got to take a picture with my man Nick, playing wild. What is Nick's handle?
Yeah.
I can't
Plain Wildcat fan.
Yeah, he was on TV, and I'm like, this is what Kentucky fandom, the BBN, should be about.
Oh Lord, oh Lord.
He's in.
I did not. I do not. I had not. You like I'm stumbling a little bit here. I did not follow him on Twitter. Okay. So I get a message from Larry Vaught while we're sitting there. He goes, "So and Nick is trying to find you." I go, "I don't know who you're talking about." Well, all of a sudden, here comes this kid with his Wildcat flag, just waving it and screaming, "Tina Cox, Tina!" I said, "Well, I guess that's me." He is such a sweetheart. And I have never seen anybody as thrilled and happy to be there. And he said, "I'm going to try to come back for the championship game." And the next day, Saturday, Keith Farmer says, "Tina, you got your picture made with Nick, the guy." And I said, "Yeah, I did." And he said, "Do you know where he is tonight?" And I said, "Well, he's not going to be here this afternoon, but he'll be here tomorrow." And that's when he got to do the interview with BBN tonight and all that. So.
And that was fantastic because Nick is from, for those people who don't know, he's from Canada. He's from Toronto.
Yes.
And I'm in a DM group with him, and it's been his goal to see the Cats play live. And when he saw that they were coming to Toronto, he was excited. He was going to go.
Oh,
and he's on TV.
He was waving that UK flag. And I asked him, I saw him after the game, and I was like, "Nick, how are you going to get home? Are you spending the night?" And he's like, "No, I've got to take the trolley over to here, and then from here to here, and then my car's waiting on me." So it wasn't easy for him to get there, but the enthusiasm, I'm following him now on Twitter, okay? I am now a Nick follower on Twitter, but yeah, it was fantastic. It was really sweet. It was just, and the Bahama Mamas, I don't know if you saw my story about the Bahama Mamas.
Yes.
Love those ladies. Love them.
And for all the negative stuff out there, of course, but hey, being a Kentucky fan it's been a net positive.
Oh, yes. And, those ladies have been traveling with the team since Joe B. Hall. They went to Italy for the 13-day adventure with the Cats with Patino. And, what I thought was I'm impressed, number one, that they're 89 and 91 and still doing what they're doing. And there's 4 of them. There were just 2 in Toronto, but they never had a negative thing to say. Okay? They didn't say, "Well, the past couple of years, they've sucked." And, there was nothing negative at all. And that was so refreshing at the time.
Yeah. That's my point of view. Like I was telling Vinny at the top of the show, you can't love with reservation. You can't be a fan with reservation. Hey.
You got to roll with it.
We get number 9 this year regardless.
Life has its good points and life has its bad points, okay? And somehow, if you wake up in a standing position every day, you're in good shape. And I just think negativity has been very, very bad the past few months. And I think Cal kind of said, "Eat it." Over the eat it.
Well, this is when I knew the fan base had jumped the shark a little bit on the negativity. When Justin Rowland, who was really loath to chastise the fans, was finally like, "You got to stop." Because every time Cal would tweet something or the basketball team's like, "Well, blah, 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 blah." Like, you don't have to live like that.
No, you don't. And if you've got that much negativity in your life towards a coach and players, you probably need to take a look in the mirror and figure out you might have some issues you need to work out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we all know that the last couple of years have not lived up to anybody's expectations.
No. But
we don't need to keep bringing it up. Like, we all know.
No, I mean, it's, I know I guess where was SEC tournament this year? I was telling Tom Leach that after they got beat by St. Peter's, I had checked in the hotel at 3. Are you ready for this? Checked in the hotel, walked across the street, went to the arena. They got beat, came out, went to the hotel, and checked out. And the guy looks at me at the checkout. He goes, "What?" He goes, "Miss Cox, you've only been here since 3:30." I said, "Yeah, and I ain't staying. I ain't listening to these Tennessee people and all these people. I'm out of here." And I left. I just left. I thought I'd rather be home in my own bed crying than up here listening to people.
We did that in Atlanta too.
Oh yes, we did. We turned around quick.
Kansas State.
When I made the mistake of going for the cheapest place closest to the arena.
Where the person got murdered in your room.
So Vinny, I don't know where we're coming back from, but the lights are going. It's roped off with the do not cross. And Tina's like, "Are you sure you want me to drop you off?" I said, "Yeah, I'll be all right." And so early next morning, I get a phone call. "Are you still alive?"
Are you still alive? Are you alive? I said, "We're heading out." It was 8:00. I said, "Get your bags packed. We're out of here."
Yeah.
And then you slept the whole way home with a hood over your head. I remember that.
I heard about that. Yeah.
And I still owe you for that. You know that, right? You owe me. You owe me.
He was still car lag from Boise, right?
Oh. See, I did Greensboro this year, and I drove that. Yeah, but I'm ready. It's gonna be fun, guys. It's gonna be fun. It'll be it'll just be good times for everybody.
Exactly.
The thing with me too, everybody can, like Terry says, some people are never going to be happy, some will never be sad, but those that want to knock the shine off of what they just did. Well, these teams weren't that good. Well, they're better than the teams they played in the Bahamas.
Right.
Maybe they're not top-notch college teams, but there were some good teams to destroy Kansas. To destroy Canada the first time, and then they get another shot at you, and then you handle them again because they. I mean, I watched the CBS Sports Net, and it's the Canadian coverage.
Right.
It's the guy and the girl in the studio.
They didn't know what to say, did they?
Right, they're representing Canada, and hopefully we can redeem ourselves. The team was really sad and dejected about how they played and not their showing. And so this team, they're motivated in going into this second matchup with Kentucky, and it still didn't go any better for them. That lets you know that
Sunday when Canada got it to 6. Right. In the fourth quarter, it's like, okay, or the end of the third, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this can go a certain way.
Right.
And then you blink, and it's like a 17-point lead.
Yeah.
Kate went to get herself a drink, came back. She's like, I thought this was a close game. I thought it was too. So did Canada.
But see, that's the difference in this team. We let them get into 6. Well, let's put it down. And that's it.
Yeah.
They know what to do.
That spurt ability that Clark Kellogg talks about, just going on a quick little run and
that's that skill that you need.
That's your kill. That's your kill. Exactly. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. We were a bunch of us were talking. You said it wasn't like the Bahamas. No, because in the Bahamas, you had a casino beside you and a beach out one door and a bar waiting on you. That was the difference in the Bahamas and Toronto. But everybody's let's go game by game and let's just get it done, and be thankful for Bob Huggins every day of the year.
I've already been thankful for Bob Huggins after telling us that Oscar Sheboy doesn't work hard.
Exactly. And look, now he's giving us Trey Mitchell, and now he thinks he's still coaching at West Virginia. So what do you think about that? He still thinks he's the coach. So I don't know.
Whew.
I don't know. So, but it's going to be fun. It is going to be fun.
Looking forward to it. And your Sports Edge, because you're writing for Larry, right?
Yep, writing for Larry. Going to do a little bit of football this year. I love UK football, and I love sitting on my couch watching UK football. Okay, it ain't my favorite thing to cover because that's a 10-hour day. I mean, that is that's a long day. But we put in for credentials the other day, so I'm doing the home football, most of them. And Larry is wonderful and lets me just do all the basketball. He's kind of done. He don't want to travel. So I'm like, I'm there. Tell me what arena they're at, and by golly, I'll be there. So, and they're playing in Atlanta in December. So.
I'm going to touch base with you about Chicago.
Dude, I'll be there. I've already got my room, baby. You know me. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, Chicago's close, Vinny, by train, because that's how they traveled the Midwest, is by train.
Right.
Okay. Like like an Amtrak.
Amtrak to Chicago. Yep.
Wow. How long does that
Yeah,
take?
you might want to think about it because they're playing at the United Center. I think it's November 16th, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe the 15th or
That's
16th.
that's about right. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Twist my arm to be rubbing elbows with Tina again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you be
our
lucky then.
numerous adventures.
We'd be down front. They'd be going, Lord have mercy, they're back. They are back. Look at them fools down there. They are back.
Seen those two before.
Say hi to all your family. I miss them all. I'd love to see you all sometime. If you're ever up here, give me a holler.
Our game plan is to come to Lexington during Keeneland in the fall.
Oh, perfect.
Because she's not made it to Lexington as of yet, so we want to do that and see all that. So definitely gotta see you when we come that close.
Well, you know it. We'll go out and do dinner or something. Okay, I promise.
Sounds good to me. Absolutely.
Vinny, tell the boys and the missus I said hello.
I sure will. And if y'all are down here, holler at us. Same thing. We come up there. Tell Rusty we said hey. Just saw him walk through.
Yeah, he just walked out. I'm out in the garage. I had to avoid the dogs barking. You know them dogs, they get going.
That's right. We remember. Yeah.
We had a bad storm that rode through here last night, tore down a tree in the backyard. So we've been dealing with that, but it is what it is. At least I ain't got corn in my backyard.
Terry knows about this.
Neither do I. It's soybeans this year, Tina.
Okay, excuse me.
It was corn last year.
All right, and that's better. That's better. So you grow McDonald's hamburgers back there.
That's what we need. But Tina, thank you so much. You have a great night. Always good to touch base with you.
You too. Let me know if you need anything, okay?
Thank you so much, Tina.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Way too long. 4 years. Lord have mercy. But thanks to Tina for coming back. And you knew she'd have all kind of good stuff from the Toronto trip, man.
Yeah,
she's something else.
I'm telling you, man, just the fun shenanigans with Tina. And, she got a hug from Sister Jean, just like every time you look up. Anyway, Tina's just great. She's fabulous.
She always where the action is, man. She gets you right in the middle of action, whatever's going on.
Yeah. I point out, it's like, oh, there's Sister Jean. And I look, and I'm like, was she over there getting a hug? And at that point, that's when Sister Jean was kind of at her peak, right? Mm-hmm. That's when Loyola was really, and so she had like an entourage, and Tina was like right there. I'm like, whatever, man.
She got that knack, man. She's got that knack.
TB, where are you? I'm like, I'm in the media area. Where are you?
Right.
I'm sitting down here by the Michigan State basket. I'm like, why are you by the upper? No, she's like, I'm right here by the basket. And so it was great until Zion Williamson and RJ Barrett and them. Yeah. You can see me in the clips. Like every now and then there'll be those clips of the Duke in the second half. You can see me. And me and Tina, 2 rows from the floor.
That's right.
Every dunk being about 10 feet from me. And people texting me, are you watching this? Yes, I am watching this. We are at the Duke end. I can hear what Coach K is yelling about my team, which is not safe for work.
Oh, boy.
All the Duke fans. And then there's that picture I share all the time of the Duke Blue Devil telling me and Tina our team wasn't very good. I'm like, I didn't think mascot's supposed to talk, man.
That's right.
What are you doing?
That's right.
What is this, bro? I was like, now I got to fight a Blue Devil.
Oh, man.
But it was a good memory. It was a good memory. But,
and y'all got the Michigan State Sparty, took a picture with Sparty too, didn't you?
We took a picture with Sparty, yeah, because we were on that end of the floor. But yeah, it was a true story. I'm like, I'm where I'm supposed to be. Where are you? She's like, well, come on down here. I was like, I don't think these are our seats. And she's like, all right, Fred, Tom, whatever his name was, he's with me. And I'm like, okay. The guy's like, oh, you with Tina? I'm like, she only been here 30 minutes. What is going on?
Hey, yeah, she done making connections. She done networking, got you in. I mean, that's how she does it, man.
So we did it. So it's always fun. But I'm gonna touch base with her about Chicago, man. That's close.
Yeah, for sure. Y'all keep touching base with us each week because we got shows, whether it's in season or in the summertime, just like we did tonight. I enjoy it. Michelle's listening to old episodes she tweeted out last night, and then we can add this one to
always
the
fun.
archive. Appreciate Tina. Appreciate you.
Yeah, we got to talk about Dak Prescott said he's not going to throw 10 interceptions this
year.
Yeah. We'll touch base on that. Do you know one of those things, you see on social media? One of the funniest things is I saw for NFL teams, it was the last time they won a division title. Everybody else is 20-something. Detroit Lions, 1993.
Goodness gracious.
I don't know how Lions fans do it. God love them.
Mm-hmm.
2 all-time greats quit rather than keep playing for y'all. That is rough. That is absolutely rough.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and they get so excited. And what last year before last, they lost like 13 games by 7 points or less. He's just close and just get your heart ripped out every week.
In this past season, they beat the Packers, keep them out of the playoffs.
Right.
I would say the NFC Central. It's not the NFC Central. The NFC North.
Mm-hmm.
Golly, it hadn't been an NFC Central in about 20 years. I am dating myself.
NFC North division, Tom.
Right. But they seem to, with the Packers and the Lions and the Bears, they all seem to hate each other. They're all not very good except for the Packers, but they all seem to not get along. Mm-hmm. It's not NFC East hate.
Right.
And it's not NL Central hate.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful. I love it.
And speaking of, I don't mean to throw shade, but those Reds have just slid right on out of first. All that little hot streak and all this, that winning streak and all that. And LA, De La Cruz, hey, more power to the young man. He's off to a good start. But I think what was All-Star break, they said they were playing Milwaukee, and Milwaukee was already 4-1 against them or whatever.
Milwaukee's got their number.
As soon as you get out the All-Star break, Milwaukee, pop, right back to whooping up on them. And I don't know. So the Braves kind of started cooling them off, for that. They took 2 out of 3 up there. Should have swept them. And, good friends of the show, Jeff Drummond, was talking about our closer who used to be a Red and how he was getting some fluky saves. Like, fluky? It was fluky that y'all even won the first game because Atlanta was up 5-0 and lost 11-10. They don't usually blow leads like that, which they just did last night. But it's rare. When they get you down, they usually keep you down. But it was fun kind of bringing the Reds back down to earth, if I'm being honest.
Yes, absolutely.
I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. I concur.
Real quick about your boy Rodgers. Are you going to be rooting for him to fail as much in New York as you did in Green Bay? I mean, I know you kind of love to see him come up short, especially against your Niners. Do you even worry about him now that he's in the AFC as much? Or
here's the thing about that. How often does this move really work? We saw it with like Tom Brady going to Tampa Bay, but how often does it work where longtime great quarterback changes teams? It doesn't really work. Maybe Peyton Manning, but I would say the Broncos won that Super Bowl in spite of Peyton Manning, not because of Peyton Manning.
Montana, the Chiefs were good when Montana was there, right? Were they decent?
Yeah, they got to an AFC title game, I believe. But again, that's pretty rare. And so even though the Jets are probably a quarterback away, I'd really like the rest of the Jets pieces. But to be honest with you, there's a reason that he only got 1 Super Bowl.
What, Favre to Minnesota, Russell Wilson to Denver. That was a train wreck from when he went. So when these guys move around,
it's a low percentage of success. I mean, I just enjoy beating the Packers. Yeah, with Rodgers, that's great. Without Rodgers, because there's a lot of Packers fans in the Kentucky fan base, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, beating the Packers brings me a special kind of joy.
Yeah.
So yeah, not winning the Super Bowl, that stings, but beating the teams that I hate the most, that's great.
Oh yeah, well,
I mean,
you had a lot of that here lately. More than I wish you had.
But hey, beating the Cowboys is great, man. Love it.
Yes. So week 5. I'm trying to get some revenge in week 5. I think they come.
Yeah, because week 7, maybe. No, it's earlier than that. We're gonna go watch the 49ers and the Vikings play at up in Minnesota. So I'm looking forward to that. We're gonna make a weekend of it because it's our anniversary weekend.
There you go.
And we're gonna try to do some like a Prince tour and some other whatever else you do in Minnesota.
Yeah, and
all I know about Minnesota is Prince and Kirby Puckett, and both of those guys have passed on, so I don't know what they got going on. I could go see the Lakers used to be.
Right, yeah. The football game, unlike Green Bay, will be indoors, so they do everything indoors up there. So you won't have to worry about the weather. So that's good.
Yeah, it's going to be the weather getting there, so hopefully the weather isn't too bad getting there. But so I'm excited about that. But if I can, because I think that's October. But hey, if I can tag along with Tina to Chicago, that'd be great.
That'd be a nice little couple of weeks in a row. October, November.
Yeah, buddy.
Minneapolis, Chicago run. There you go.
I need to add to my collection of media passes.
That's right. You're just ripping and running all over the Midwest, man. Des Moines, Chicago, Minneapolis.
That's right.
Oh man. Yeah, get it done.
Still need to go to Kansas City to see the Negro League Museum. I know we got that standing invitation. Need to take Mr. Bob up on that.
That's right. Got to get him back on here with us too. Need to reach out and try to call him or message him or something.
Yeah, but always fun, man. We'll do it again.
Enjoyed it. Thanks, TB. Thanks to Tina Cox. Thank y'all for listening. Thanks to the BS3 Network for letting us be on here. We'll be back to do it all again next Wednesday. See everybody later in Cats Talk Wednesday.
What do you get when you watch?